All right. So this is you that's listening to me right now. This is you running down a destructive road of not dealing with your personal problems, not dealing with your psychosis, and not dealing with some of the personal things that's happened to you in the first 12 years of your life. And this ain't just about trading. This mental health is everything. But I love that mental health is tied with trading because whatever you're dealing with, it's going to show up on your MetaTrader account. You know, we've already stated that before. So what I want to talk about today is simple stuff. Psychosomatic ills. Psychosomatic ills. Um, I feel like this is very important because we live in a time now where we're doing exactly what this person is doing right now. We're just running down a destructive road, and this destructive road is us running away from our demons, as they used to say it back in the day. But it's really you just chase. You're running away from your problems instead of running toward them and dealing with them with face value. And what ends up happening is you end up. Oh, there's some nice visuals. What you end up doing is you run into more problems because see, the more you avoid, and it goes like that too. If you avoid something so bad, you're really manifesting it to stay a problem. I know you heard even Tony, Bob Proctor, a lot of them say um what is it? Whatever you persist or something to that extent. Whatever you um conceal in, it's kind of like a bottle effect. It's gonna explode. You can't suppress stuff. So whatever you persist, suppress it. Whatever you suppress down is gonna eventually explode. And mental health is nothing to like hold back on. Or I'm gonna get it one day. When is one day? Where is one day on the calendar? I'll wait. Where is one day at on the calendar? When are you gonna deal? You don't understand the freedom that comes with facing your demon. I can talk about it because I faced certain demons in my life, or certain let's just stop using that word demon. I'm gonna call them engrams or paradigms. That's what we're gonna do. Um, when it comes to a paradigm, like Bob Proctor has said clearly before, a paradigm is a habit that is fixed into your nervous system. And what you got to understand is some of your habits are against you. A lot of your habits will what they'll do is see your central nervous system have to be a certain way. There has to be a balance in your life. So when you have an imbalance in a certain area, ends up happening is there's an imbalance in your body liquids, or in your mind. Some of the you're releasing too much of this type of liquid that comes with fear, or this type of pressure that comes with anxiety and all this, and then they get suppressed in your mind and they manifest into something else. And that's where you have psychosomatic illness. All illnesses and disease come from the mind. I'll repeat it again. All illnesses and diseases come from the mind. It's when your mind is at ease. It's not at ease. That's what the word dis-ease. Your mind is not easy anymore. And when it's not easy, your chemical makeup starts to change for the worse because you're supposed to be a balanced person, a balanced life, a balanced observation. Now you have a disorientated thing, worry, guilt, fear, whatever, and it's too much. And what ends up happening is you have psychosomatic ills. Now, everything, like I said, every disease comes from psychosomatic illness. Okay, you can look it up for yourself. You don't have to take my word. But if you have any type of dis-ease, whether that be um, nervousness, that comes from the central nervous system anyway. That's a thought. Where it comes from, let's say, I'm trying to give some really good examples so you can understand. Um, all right, here's a really good one. Your mother and father forced you, with forced to go through school and to get good grades, and they put a lot of pressure on you during your first 12 years. So now here you are. You're very successful. You have a great job. You're what everyone wants to be. But you're addicted to cigarettes and alcohol and can't find a good um, relationships with people. And you can't be in good relationships with people because you're used to people pressuring you. This could be male or female. Whatever your mom and dad do to you is going to affect your adulthood. But whatever they don't do to you will affect your adulthood. So again, I know you know some people that are very successful, but they're just alcoholics and addicted to smoking cigarettes, and they have loneliness problems and issues, and it turns into other things like depression. Now they're depressed. They can't um, have good balanced relationships. They always get in a relationship with someone that's pressuring them. And that rings a bell to them subconsciously because their mom and dad did that, and all that pressure, all it did is we created the psychosomatic ill called depression. A lot of them become depressed, and a lot of people that are depressed comes from those type of 12 years of that type of pressure. Because depression, you're impressing something in you, a worry or guilt, and you're not dealing with it. You're running away with it, like the woman was doing in the first visual. You're running away from your problem. And the more you run away with it, so you numbing your central nervous system until it becomes depression. And when depression comes in, that's a psychosomatic ill. It starts bothering your body. You'll end up having a lot of problems. Anxiety is the same way. A lot of people that had anxiety growing up, I had anxiety. You know where that comes from? Not 100%, but when you're dealing with, growing up in a household where you're always in trouble, or so you always something's always wrong, and you can't stay still, and there's too much to think about and stuff like that. Does that ring a bell? Have you ever, my mom was kind of hard on me. Not gonna sit here and lie. Growing up, my mom was kind of hard on me, and I was quiet. And being hard on me, it made me start thinking in my head, am I doing something wrong? And I mean, you can even go deeper and deeper back into my memory bank to see that there were certain spells that were put on me. When I say spells, I'm not talking about magic, I'm talking about words. Every time your mom or your dad yelled at you, and if they kept yelling the same thing, like, you'll never be nothing, I can never leave you alone, you always messing up, those words become problems in our adulthood. That's why it's good for parents to encourage the child to be the best that they can possibly be. And you see some of those people out in out there where you're at. You'll see people that excel. That didn't come because they were just born into that. All this stuff is developed in your first 12 years of life. So if you grew up in a impoverished home where 30K a year was pretty much all you saw growing up, then you're going to become adult, and 30K a year will be your comfort zone. Hell, you might struggle to get 30K a year. You're going to pick up on all the idiosyncrasies of everyone that was around you in your first 12 years. So here you are, and you have some of these problems that you're running from, that you probably got from grandma, grandpa, granddaddy, whatever. You can sit back and look at them. You know your family structure. You know how hard it is to break that structure. And a lot of your problems that come with relationships, that come with trading, that come with money, that comes with just sitting still in the room for 30 minutes and focusing on your breath, came from some of the psychosomatic ills that you created. Well, your the people around you put and made you exposed to, and you accept and start believing them as a young age. So here you are, you turn 18 years old, you have so many of these psychosomatic ills that you don't deal with because no one taught you how to deal with it. So by the time you turn 30, 40, now you got liver problems, or your ankles start hurting, you start getting older and all that. Those things like that, when we age, and stuff like bronchitis and all this stuff that comes out of nowhere, every last one of those diseases are tied back to a psychosomatic ill, because it all starts in the mind first. And you got to remember one thing about your mind. You have a part of your mind that your mind protects you from, and it's like a sleight of hand. What it does is it automatically does the stuff that you've been doing for the last 20 years automatically without you thinking about it. Hell, some of the stuff that you do, you don't even want to go back and look and think about it because you feel pain every time you think about it. Think about how many times you, let's say, think about how many times you were like, somebody tried to talk to you about a certain situation in your life, and you were so uncomfortable about talking about it that you usually get into an argument with that person or anyone that talks about it, and you're super hypersensitive about that topic. Those type of topics needs to be brought back up to the conscious so you can deal with them. There's a problem and it's sitting deep inside of your subconscious, and you want to grow, and you can't grow unless you deal with those problems. So when those problems stay in your subconscious for so long, they create psychosomatic ills, because your tone, everyone has a tone level in your heart, and the tone level scales from 1 to 10. And if your tone level is below 5, you're creating diseases in your body. If the tone level is high, there's no disease because your mind is at ease. So a person with a high tone is a bright person that brights up the room with their energy, that's loving and kind, and has a balance to their emotions. You don't see a lot of those people out there. A person with a low tone and angry all the time, hypersensitive, no balance in certain areas of their life, are going to be easier prone to diseases because their mind is at ease, and they're going to be easier to do low tone activities like self-sabotaging their life on certain aspects, um, going to jail, committing suicide. These things are low tones of vibration. It takes a low toning heart with low toning affirmation. I mean, not affirmation, low toning paradigms that are stuck in the subconscious to allow you to even think about stealing, killing, committing suicide, self sabotage. How many of you guys had a great opportunity to go do something and you got in the way? There's something there in your mind that needs to be fixed. Now, remember, you can't beat the mind with the mind that created the problem. So now you have to go into awareness, come out of yourself and observe yourself. Observance of the mind is awareness. And practicing awareness, you become unattached of the mind and its monkey talk. Now you're just the observer. Now you got to ask yourself, If this whole time I'm observing myself and now I'm not reacting to the monkey talk or the ego talk, now I'm really actually sitting here looking at myself like through a third person glass. Who is that person that's looking now? That's the real you. So in order to stop being embodied by the monkey mind or the ego, is to practice awareness and surrender yourself to your thoughts. Because once you get so much in doubt in your thoughts, you're more prone to your tone going low. And when your tone goes low, then the chemical makeup of your body will start to create psychosomatic illness. And that's basically how people started to get that angry person in your family that's always angry, and they end up having a brain aneurysm. What do you think the brain aneurysm come from? Brain aneurysms is not from a high tone of life. That's from being in a low tone. Of course, it has something to do with your diet, but something about your diet is tied to the tone you're in. When you feel good, you eat feel good foods. When you are in a low tone and you feel bad, you don't go get a salad. You go get a candy bar, something really sugary. You get whatever is in harmony of that tone that you're in. You get what I'm saying? With psychosomatic illnesses literally drop your tone down. And when your tone of your inner being is down like that, you get fatigue, which is a psychosomatic ill. Always fatigue, chronic fatigue is a psychosomatic ill. Insomnia is a psychosomatic ill from being low toned. Aches and pains in the muscles, psychosomatic illness. High blood pressure, that's because you're so stressed out. Where'd the stress come from? The mind, psychosomatic illness. Trouble breathing because you're so stressed out. I used to have that when I had anxiety, because anxiety is a psychosomatic illness. It comes from the mind. Not being able to breathe, that's psychosomatic illness. And not being able to breathe, I think that's called dysemia or something like that. Shortness of breaths, all that. Psychosomatic ills. Indigestion, an upset stomach. You're in control of your stomach through your subconscious mind. That's a psychosomatic illness. Even if you ate the wrong food, who told you to eat that food in the first place? Your mind, didn't it? Psychosomatic illness. Erectile dysfunction. Can't get it up. How does that work? That works through the nervous system. Where's the nervous system connected to? Your mind. Psychosomatic illness. Do I have to even keep going? Even skin rashes, stomach ulcers, all of those things come from being in a low tone. And that tone is from the emotions. If your emotions are not balanced, meaning you can get mad, you can still get sad, you can still get happy, but you shouldn't stay in those states. I mean, you can stay in a happy state, but then chronic positivity is a problem too. You want an equilibrium where you equal out and you're able to go to any emotion when it's needed, not when it's, you see what I'm saying? You should be able to go to any emotion when it's needed. Some of you guys stay in anger, and that's your equilibrium to stay in anger. Well, guess what's going to happen? High blood pressure comes with anger. Ulcers pop up in your body because you're in a low tone and you're staying in that low tone too. You're killing yourself, lowering the tone of your heart. And all I'm saying is if you could just choose happiness and deal with some of the problems that happen in your first 12 years and face those demons and get rid of those paradigms and become a self actualized human being, You probably wouldn't even have to worry about any psychosomatic illness, any diseases, or anything, because you'll have a healthy body with a healthy vibration coming from it. And when you're healthy and you're vibrating and you're happy, you eat the right proper foods. You live longer. The quickest way out of this world, off this rock, is to stay in a suppressed form, called any form, suppressively in a form of anger, hatred, anxiety, depression, worrying. If that's your equilibrium, you are creating psychosomatic ills in your body. I even read a paper, and I'm gonna close at this. I read a paper, and there was some young ladies in Africa. They were equal. They were equilibriumly toned as a and their tone was high. They was happy, beautiful, prosperous people. Like I could see it on their face when I was looking at the thing, and they ate extremely healthy. And some people tried to, the people tried to do an experiment, and they tried to inject herpes in them. And I'm gonna tell you right now, and I don't know how true this is, but it does makes a little bit more sense. The herpes can't stay in a body with a high tone and an alkaline in the blood cells. The herpes needs a low tone body with acidics all over in order to survive once it first gets inside of you. Even AIDS. AIDS cannot stay in an alkaline body with a high tone when it first gets in. When it first gets in, it's looking for acidics in the low tones, and that's what makes it grow. And with that being said, I'm going to leave you with that. Hope you get some value out of this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.